In his first address following his decision to opt out of the US presidential race, Joe Biden once again endorsed throwing his weight behind Kamala Harris. The US president praised his Vice President Kamala Harris, the presumptive nominee for the Democratic presidential ticket, as being tough and capable as he addressed the nation from the Oval Office. He further added that she's been an incredible partner too and the leader for our country, and now the choice is up to you, the American people. The US president has fully supported Kamala Harris ever since he decided to bow down from the election race. Biden also told Americans that he dropped out of the 2024 election to unite his party and his country. He said in a historic Oval Office speech that it was time to pass the torch to younger voices. He further added that the defense of the democracy which is at stake is more important than any title in his first televised address since his stunning decision. But Kamala Harris won't become the nominee right away, though her political position, her age and the diverse demographics that she represents definitely gives her certain advantages and an edge. And she has all the reasons to be pleased after receiving huge amount of support from big donors and prominent Democrats who have poured in more than $100 million in donations into Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential bid since President Joe Biden dropped out of the race. According to reports, donors who had pulled back their funding over concerns about Joe Biden's age are now intending to resume their support for the party. In fact, the New York Times reported that this surge in donations in the 24-hour period after Biden decided to quit the race was the single biggest for online contributions to Democrats since 2020. Kamala Harris has raised $231 million through political donations from both small and large donors. And this kind of support by donors is certainly expected to boost her prospects ahead of the party's national convention. The vice president has also inherited the funds which had been donated to Joe Biden before he decided to step down as the potential candidate. After Joe Biden's disastrous performance in the first presidential debate, many of the donors had called for his replacement and had even threatened to withdraw financial support. This is one of the reasons why the president had decided to end his election campaign. So let's just tell you about the donations received in support of Kamala Harris. Now, many of the party supporters and volunteers donated $81 million in what is being described as small dollar donations. Her campaign team also received $150 million in donations from the big donors. All of this has been described as the highest donation ever received throughout the history of the US in a span of just 24 hours. This amount, totaling $231 million, has been received within a span of 24 hours after Biden decided to end his election campaign. So how has this amount been raised? Well, the campaign team stated that within an hour, the team raised $11 million on Sunday. The donations also reached $49.6 million within 15 hours after Biden ended his campaign. And this amount then swelled to $81 million within a period of 24 hours. The team has secured $150 million in pledges. Biden had already received $122 million by the end of June, and now Kamala Harris will be inheriting this amount as well. Democrats have united behind Vice President Kamala Harris as the party's frontrunner for the presidential nomination, and their excitement translated into a juggernaut day for fundraising for the party and for Harris's campaign. She has even won endorsements from a majority of Democratic Party's pledged convention delegates. Kamala Harris may not be the party's presumptive nominee formally, but Harris's position as the frontrunner is very certain, rock solid, with no potential challengers signaling their intent to vie for the nomination. In fact, two major labor unions have already endorsed Harris: the American Federation of State, County and Municipal Employees, along with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, who both are backing Harris at the top of the Democratic ticket. These two major unions are both the largest of their kind, and they each have voted unanimously to endorse Kamala Harris. And along with them is Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, who has endorsed Harris, joining the chorus of Democratic governors in key battleground states backing the vice president's presidential bid. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey has endorsed Kamala Harris, calling her, quote-unquote, a proven leader who has delivered for the American people again and again. President Joe Biden's decision not to contest and the soaring popularity of Kamala Harris with the backing of Democrats has definitely given the Democrats a jolt of energy, generating quite a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, especially from the young voters. Her endorsement from the president has certainly infused hope that the party now has a shot. Hollywood stars and pop icons are also rushing to embrace Kamala Harris. In fact, they're rallying behind Kamala Harris as the best chance of beating Donald Trump. From George Clooney to Robert De Niro, Hollywood has galvanized around Kamala Harris in just 3 hours than it did this entire election cycle for Joe Biden. And now one will have to see if Kamala Harris is able to build and maintain the momentum, continue to raise resources, and most importantly, make sure her vision and priorities resonate with the people across the United States of America ahead of the all-important November election. Meanwhile, Trump supporting celebrities like UK actor and comedian Russell Brand has taken to social media to argue that Kamala Harris hasn't really been an effective public speaker besides commenting on her laugh. Republicans have now started to refer to the potential candidate as quote-unquote cackling Kamala. Well, it's only a matter of time and remains to be seen just who will have the last laugh when the US presidential election takes place on November 5th.